we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Good for Bitcoin. I am Brandon, joined as always by Kate, and happy Friday, Kate.
Happy Friday, Brandon. How are we doing this week?
Doing pretty good. We were just talking about it being a little bit of a slower week compared
Definitely.
to last week. We had so much news to talk about last week.
I know.
But a lot of companies bought Bitcoin, I feel like, this week compared to last week. So we'll get into that. But it was a good week. I actually the other day I actually interviewed Jacob from Hermetica. That show is going to be coming out next week around an announcement that they're going to be having. So some spoiler alerts there. But that was a really good convo. I think we talked for I think it's going to be like a 45-minute show. It was really good. Awesome. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, it's good.
So we were talking, a few weeks ago about wanting to get Jacob on the show because they had their HBTC announcement and having it being funded by STRC, and that it's perfect for this show, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
So many things converging.
Yeah.
So looking forward to getting that one out there. That'll be out next week. But happy Bitcoin Pizza Day also.
Bitcoin Pizza Day. Yeah, gotta love it.
Shout out.
Did Jacob talk about at all if they have any kind of relationship with Strategy? If there's ever been any communication between the two? Are we gonna have to wait to find out?
That. You're gonna have to tune in to find out.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for holding it down. I wasn't able to make the show, but yeah.
It's all good. It was a good show. But shout out to Laszlo for buying 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin way back in the day. I think, what
Bitcoin
is it,
legend.
16 years ago, 17 years ago?
I think it was 16. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was the first time that Bitcoin was ever used to purchase something physical, like a physical good. So first time Bitcoin was used as a medium of exchange. That is why we celebrate.
Love it.
Pretty cool. Okay, let's get into the public companies. Massive buy from Strategy this week. They purchased 24,869 Bitcoin worth roughly $2.01 billion. And they now hold 843,738 BTC. And I think, was this last week or this week? I think I saw that they now own 4% of the entire Bitcoin supply, which is insane.
Just nuts. Yeah, I know. When we first started reporting on this, they were, I think, in maybe even the 400,000s or 500,000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild.
Yep.
Okay, then we have Strive's SATA. They acquired roughly 382 BTC this week, and so they now hold 15,391 in total.
American Bitcoin Corp, which is the Trump family company, they bought 200 BTC. They now hold an even 7,500 Bitcoin.
Nice. We have the Orange BTC. We haven't figured out how to pronounce that. Where are they based out of again?
Brazil, I think.
Brazil, right? Okay, yeah.
The biggest Latin American Bitcoin treasury company.
Okay, amazing. Well, they bought a whopping 5 BTC. They now hold 3,737 in total.
Capital B bought 192 Bitcoin. They now hold 3,135.
Then we have the Smarter Web company. They bought 19 BTC and they now hold 2,859.
And DDC Enterprise bought 200 BTC. They now hold 2,583. And they have broken into the top 30 public companies holding Bitcoin. So congrats to them.
Congrats. Awesome. SpaceX, this is Elon's baby. They filed for their IPO and it revealed 18,712 BTC was on their balance sheet as of March 31st. That's valued at roughly 1.45 billion at current prices today. So it makes them one of the top corporate holders, which
Yeah, I
is
was looking
crazy.
at comparing it to some of the other companies out there, and that would put them above Coinbase, Strive, and even Tesla in BTC holdings. So that's where Elon has been stacking, I guess, is through SpaceX and not through Tesla.
They're going to be sending BTC to the moon. I hate that I
Yeah,
just said that,
literally.
but uh,
Tether announced that some other news in the public company space. Tether announced that they have acquired SoftBank's entire stake in 21, which is the Jack Mallers Strike Tether, company, which is worth an estimated $780 million. So SoftBank is now out at 21, and Tether is just doubling down there.
oh. Then we have Nakamoto. I always mess up saying this one. I don't know why. Nakamoto. Um, their shareholders approved a 40-to-1 reverse stock split, which is set to take place today. And this is basically just to preserve their listing status on the NASDAQ because their stock price had fallen so much that they were at risk of getting delisted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny if you look up like their stock ticker, like the 7-day chart is insane. Like today they have like a 13,000%, increase in their stock price. But that's why.
Yeah.
They didn't actually get that much more valuable. They just they 40 to 1 their stock. And I, as of today, have sold both of my
No
shares,
way.
both in Nakamoto and in 21, both at a loss. I'm just doing some moving around of stocks, and I wanted to do some like dollar costs. Like I wanted to sell some stuff at a loss, and then also sell some stuff at like a profit to like
Yeah.
tax advantage,
Yep.
like zero it out. So I'll be reinvesting in something else, but no more Bitcoin treasury companies for me right now.
Oh, that's sad.
Bitcoin only.
Hey, at least you tried. Like you said like you didn't have insane expectations. You just wanted to try it out and like, see what happened. So,
Yeah, it was only like I think it was like $1,000 each or something
yeah.
that I put in, so it wasn't really that much, in the grand scheme of things. But didn't work, which is
So
fine.
funny.
It's all good.
Yeah. All right, well, we can get into the news this week. We really only have a couple. There's only really two like major stories, and I wouldn't even call them major, but they were
Yeah.
at least like noteworthy enough to talk about. So we can get into the first one. This is around ARMA. This is the American Reserve Modernization Act. So a little bit of like political spin on this, but there was two representatives. One was Republican, one was from a Democrat from Maine, and they are the ones that introduced the ARMA in May 21st.
Hmm.
And it has a lot of bipartisan support, and it's really around creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve inside the US Treasury. In addition, a separate digital asset stockpile for other federally held cryptocurrencies that are not Bitcoin. And so they have an acquisition target. They want to acquire up to 1 million BTC. This would be purchased at a rate of up to 200,000 BTC per year over 5 years. And their acquisition strategy is going to be budget neutral. So it just means they're not going to tax more, they're not going to add more deficit or take on any new debt to acquire this Bitcoin. And one of the requirements in the proposition, which I think is pretty cool, is that any Bitcoin acquired would be locked up for a mandatory 20-year holding period. So this is, treating Bitcoin kind of like gold or strategic energy reserves rather than just a tradable asset. They do propose some transparency requirements. One of them would be a quarterly proof of reserve report, and then also independent third-party audits of all federal digital asset holdings, which we would love to see. There's also a self-custody protection built in. So the bill explicitly bars the federal government from impairing Americans' right to own, transfer, or self-custody digital assets. So that was cool to see. But yeah,
Yeah.
bipartisan support on this seems pretty cool.
Does seem pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, Trump, of course, like signed his executive order on like day 2 or whatever it was when he joined. About like the Bitcoin reserve, strategic Bitcoin reserve. But executive orders can be reversed by whoever the next
Yeah,
president
that's
is.
true.
So that's kind of the whole point of this is to actually codify it into law. Having bipartisan support, I think, is really huge. I don't know how I feel about that acquisition target though. That's a lot of Bitcoin. I mean, if they can do it, like, great, but that's a lot of Bitcoin. So it certainly would make the price go up, I think,
Yeah,
based on
especially being
that large
locked.
amount.
Yeah, being
But
locked for
but
20
yeah,
years.
pretty cool stuff.
Very cool.
I wonder what the Poly market is trading on that. I don't
Are
know.
you gonna check it? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So next up, in news, we have this one. A lot of reporting from Blockspace Media on this one, so shout out to
Yeah.
them. But Prime Trust, the estate that's controlling Prime Trust, I guess they went into bankruptcy. They are suing Swan and Strike for up to $1.12 billion of Bitcoin in clawbacks. So the bankruptcy estate for Prime Trust creditors, which is called PCT Litigation Trust, they filed 2 lawsuits in Delaware, one against Swan Bitcoin's parent company, and then one against Strike's parent company. And roughly it's $970 million from Swan and about $150 million from Strike. And I'll just say personally for Swan, couldn't have happened to a more deserving CEO.
I kind of just fit. It's so funny when I was like reading through this. I was like, I feel like Brandon's gonna be happy about this.
Corey is just everything wrong with like the Bitcoin industry. I hate that guy. Just everything wrong with like Bitcoin maximalism. Yeah. Anyway, claim is pretty straightforward. Both companies, basically both of those companies pulled their assets out of Prime Trust in the months leading up to its collapse in 2023. And the estate is looking to get the money back for creditors, because especially if you have like inside information that maybe there's something wrong at Prime Trust and you pull out before others, they have the right to try to get that money back. So I guess I don't really remember this happening. I remember Prime Trust being a really huge name. Like if you were gonna deposit like a large amount of money, like I remember back when I worked at BlockFi, I think Prime Trust was like kind of one of the vendors that if you were like gonna wire transfer in money at BlockFi, you were technically wiring money into Prime Trust, and it was like they were using Prime Trust in the background. And like a lot of companies do that, right? Like all of these companies, right? Swan and Strike seemingly were doing very similar things. So they were providing like a lot of the infrastructure in the background to facilitate like onboarding. So in August 2023, Prime Trust filed for bankruptcy after losing the keys to a wallet holding more than 11,000 ETH. That is crazy that happened to them. That alone wouldn't have been fatal, except they weren't holding customer deposits one-to-one. They were basically running more like a fractional reserve bank with less in it than in the vault than it owed. So losing that ETH just caused this cascading effect. And once withdrawals started rolling in, it was like a bank run and there wasn't enough to go around. So they had $44 million in assets against $170 million in liabilities, or a $135 million difference, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I don't remember that happening. I don't know why.
Either. Like, I feel like it was. I think sometimes when it doesn't involve, I mean, maybe it did involve like individuals, but when it involves more like corporations and like,
Mhm.
corporations going bankrupt and it affects other institutions, it's less like, oof, it
Yeah.
maybe hurts less. And so you don't pay as much attention. But yeah, I don't really remember it either. It's not something that's like talked about that
Yeah.
much either, I guess. But
Yeah. So if they, I guess if they win either suit, it would cover, seemingly what was owed. But Swan and Strike are kind of I think the biggest two.
Yeah,
But
they're
they
big
have
names.
99 other suits that are open. 87 are still active. Some smaller actions against names like Compass Mining, OpenNode, Fold. I think I saw even like Galaxy was in there. There's like some other ones that are in there with other things. So they're suing the entire industry basically.
They're going all out.
Yeah. But this is another thing against Swan is that like Swan basically is just like contracting, like Swan like barely is a company. Like, they use all these other vendors to like do all the things, and they like don't do any of these things like themselves, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should stop talking about Swan because Corey's gonna like try to sue me or something, but because he is actually like pretty litigious. So I'll say, apparently,
Litigious.
apparently, allegedly, yeah. I hear from other sources that he's like that. Yeah. Anyway, how does the trust have a claim on money that these companies already withdrew? The hook is Prime Trust Master Services Agreement, the contract that every client of Prime Trust signed, including Swan and Strike, which basically defines how assets are held. U.S. bankruptcy law lets an estate claw back certain transfers made in the run up to insolvency. And then the trust is arguing that these withdrawals weren't companies rescuing their own funds. They were transfers that the estate is legally entitled to reverse for the benefit of all creditors. Yeah. PCT, I was going to say something, but I'm like, I don't think I can about BlockFi, but I don't think I can say it. PCT Litigation Trust has opened 99 lawsuits, against companies, and 87 are still active, like I said. Crazy stuff.
I don't know. It could be quite unfortunate. I guess maybe fortunate for the creditors of Prime Trust if they end up getting their money back. But I mean, you got to read the terms and service, I guess. But that would suck if, like, you have to pay for someone else's bank run.
It sure would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like, I think this is going to be like a big case for the industry because it really, it could tell us like how U.S. bankruptcy courts are going to handle Bitcoin clawbacks from a fractional reserve custodian. And so it's like whatever the outcome or whatever the decision from this one is likely going to set quite a standard moving forward. So, which, maybe could be good.
Yeah. One thing that I didn't really see too much talked about too much with this news was like obviously running a fractional reserve is like that sounds like some sort of fraud to me. Like you're not,
I know.
you're not
That's what I'm
allowed to do
saying.
that.
Yeah.
Especially if you are a trust, like you are, you need to be like very, very securely holding your client's Bitcoin. So I'm sure like that's a completely different, case. But yeah, didn't hear too many things about that this week, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that that's also like illegal, crazy, similar to like FTX, right? Like they had FTX is like doing a bunch of, they were also doing very similar things like clawbacks, stuff like that, trying to get back assets through their bankruptcy proceedings, but then also, doing a lot of fraud simultaneously.
Crazy. All right, well, we can get into some quick headlines that we saw this week. The first one came out of Glassnode. They're like an on-chain analytics company. And they found that roughly 30.2% of all issued Bitcoin is currently sitting in addresses that would be considered exposed to quantum risk. So we've talked about this many times on the show, but a computer that's able to actually like crack Shor's algorithm and, in theory, you could derive the private key from any public keys that are exposed on Bitcoin. They could move those coins. So obviously this does not exist today, but the timeline is very much up for debate, in the air, risk coming at us. But 30% is what Glassnode is projecting is Bitcoin at risk.
And these are usually, I think the most common way that they are quantum exposed is address reuse.
Yes.
Right? That's how your public key gets like broadcast to the network, is by reusing addresses. So try not to do that, I guess, is the recommendation there. Or just move your Bitcoin one time to a new address, and then just
Never
don't
move
touch it. Yeah. And then you're safe ish, I guess. I'm sure there's other things that, that are at risk, but that's like kind of one of the main ones. Saw this one that I thought was interesting. So Bloomberg has reported that Iran has started a Bitcoin-backed insurance service called the Hormuz Safe for shipping containers wanting to transit the Strait of Hormuz. And the Iranian government says that it could generate up to $10 billion annually. So they are just continuing to double down on Bitcoin. I don't know. I mean, it's the Iranian government saying that, so who knows how accurate that $10 billion figure actually is. But still very interesting that they are just continuing to double down on their Bitcoin desires, I guess, and wanting to acquire more Bitcoin.
It's funny. Then we have Galaxy Digital. They received their BIT license and money transmitter license, so they can now provide service to New Yorkers.
Good for New Yorkers. I also saw Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. He signed a bill this week allowing banks and credit unions to offer Bitcoin custody services to their customers. So if you are in Minnesota, that is good news for you as well.
Pretty cool.
Okay,
Right.
I think that wraps it up. Kind of a short week.
Yeah, that's what you get. We have a long one last week, short one this week. That's the way
It all
goes.
evens out.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Catch all of our episodes at goodforbitcoin.com. We stream here live every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And go follow us on X at goodforbtc. We secured the handle.
Love it.
We have not talked about it yet, so I think we have like literally 2 followers on there, and one of them is me. So we need to get that handle verified too. I need to work on that so that we can stream from there. But we've already started posting some clips from there from the previous shows, and go follow at goodforbtc on X. And happy Bitcoin Pizza Day.
Sweet. Thank you guys.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.